What's going
Been
on,
ready.
everybody? Welcome in to another episode of the Fantasy Football Show. It is December 9th, 2020 at the time of recording. Got a fantastic show as always, coming at you. We're going to hit them with some news, got a quick question, some buy-sell recap, starts of the week recap, and our matchups in our league recap, game picks recap from the last week. Massive week this past week for playoffs in fantasy football. Another massive one coming up as we get into the playoff season. So I'm just going to start us off with a quick question here. So I saw this, I think 2 days ago. It was that since week 3, Justin Jefferson is the wide receiver 5 on the week. Since week 3, Justin Jefferson is the wide receiver 5 on the season. Who are the other 4 ahead of him?
Tyreek Hill, Devontae Adams, Will Fuller, DeAndre Hopkins.
Will Fuller.
Yes.
Diop's a hot take, too.
He was a number 3 wide receiver before he got suspended.
Was he really number 3?
Mm-hmm. After his Thanksgiving game.
That's insane that he's that high up.
For a rookie, yeah.
Yeah. So any other guesses?
No, I think Bryce would knock my phone out of the park.
DK maybe?
Maybe DK, yeah.
Yeah,
Maybe not Will Fuller.
Yeah, it's not Will Fuller. So the stats actually from week 4. I messed that up. But Tyreek Hill, wide receiver 1. Devontae Adams, wide receiver 2. DK, wide receiver 3. Keenan Allen, wide receiver 4.
Keenan Allen.
Really?
Yep. A.J. Brown's right there at 6. Justin Jefferson has just been super impressive as a rookie. I just thought that stat was insane. He's been killing it recently. All right, we'll move on to some news and notes. Thankfully, a fairly slow news week, especially with injuries, as compared to the rest of the season that we've had. Starting it off, James Conner is activated off of the COVID reserve list. As a player with a cancer history, it's good to see that he's just back after 1 week. Really, the biggest piece of news is Jalen Hurts is going to be starting at quarterback for the Eagles. That's massive news.
Love it. That's an expensive backup.
Yeah. So first thoughts was last week when he came in, he looked much better for this offense. I mean, he outpaced Carson Wentz in every stat. I mean, he looked better. The Eagles have been so hard to watch, and Jalen Hurts might bring that spark. He definitely gives them a better chance to win.
Plus, there's a big difference in mentality between a rookie that's trying to prove himself, as a lot of people didn't really like Jalen Hurts. He was like quarterback, 4 or 5 going into the draft.
Yeah.
In comparison to, Carson Wentz.
Yeah, definitely.
Carson Wentz didn't give a shit out on the field ever.
Yeah. He's a shell of what he was when he was an MVP candidate prior ACL tear. Really sucks to see. But yeah, he's like $60 million dead cap next year. I mean, they can't cut him. No one's going to take that after what he's done. I mean, it's very interesting situation in Philly. Todd Gurley is, quote, dealing with a knee injury.
He's always dealing with a knee injury.
Yeah, exactly. That's kind of what I thought. I just threw it in there because it's been fairly slow this week. Antonio Gibson, major news, turf toe injury is what it's looking like. Got hurt after like the second play in the Steelers game. Super unfortunate for him. To me, these foot injuries, this is a season ender this late in the season. Foot injuries are always really nagging. Not confident that Josh Jacobs returns in week 14 from John Gruden. McCaffrey said he, quote, feels great, just hopes that these next 4 games go well. He practiced today in a limited fashion from the shoulder. However, the coach said that he tweaked his thigh, and it was an injury from last week. So concerning for the injury-prone McCaffrey from this season. Pete Carroll said Chris Carson's not 100%. Frank Gore got a concussion. A.J. Boye, cornerback for the Broncos, was suspended 6 games. Chris Godwin did not practice on Tuesday. He got his pins removed from his broken finger. A.J. Green won't be back with the Bengals in 2021. Beat reporter reported that. Just news for next season. Joe Mixon's eligible to come off of IR. But Zach Taylor, head coach, said that he will have to wait another week. Tyreek mixed practice Wednesday to an illness. And Des Bryant quit football. That one was interesting.
Yeah, that was just weird. It was like right before the game.
What a guy.
He's already dapping up everyone. He's on the field practicing, dapping up all the past Cowboys coaches that he knew, and then gets pulled off the field and then can't play. Just interesting. What a wild year. So yeah, we'll move on to some buy-sell recap. Didn't do too hot, except Boyer went 4-1 on the week. And the rest of us went 2-3.
Ooh.
Yeah, that was real bad.
Oh, that was a good time.
So my question was Gibson finishing the week with 15 fantasy points. We all bought that except for Boyer, and he got hurt. So that one's kind of unfortunate for all of us. Alvin Kamara just barely squeaks by. We said this was Brandon's. He asked if he gets over 17.3 fantasy points. He got 17.7. And myself and Boyer bought that one. Just unfortunate for him with Taysom Hill. Bruce's was Raheem Mostert, 100 scrimmage yards. He got 43. Myself and Zach were the ones who got that one wrong. Zach asked Josh Allen getting 20 fantasy points. He lit the world on fire. He got 30. He was playing really well in that game. I don't know if you guys caught that. Zach sold on that one.
That's tough.
Yeah.
Really
Derek
tough.
Carr, 2 touchdowns. This was Boyer's, and he had 4 total, so we all bought that. And Zach said Henry Ruggs.
Ruggs game.
And yeah, I mean,
He
I
won
guess
the game.
he did win the game.
He won the game.
It was
It's
nasty.
the Ruggs game. And now, he's going to pop off, simply put.
Actually,
He got the confidence.
Boyer went 5-0 this week because that
Yeah,
Josh Allen.
Yeah, the Josh Allen one I messed up. That is correct.
Nah. Hey, that means I went 1-4 this week. Hey.
Yeah. That is
That's
true.
all
All right.
Hard.
Yeah, Boyer went ham. All right. So we'll move on to the starts of the week recap. So for the quarterbacks, we had Kirk Cousins, Ryan Fitzpatrick, who did not play, Cam Newton, Jared Goff, Derek Carr. Derek Carr was the quarterback 1 on the week. Jared Goff, he had 24 fantasy points. That's a hit from Zach. Bruce's was Cam with 23 fantasy points, and you said he'd throw a couple.
I did. He only threw one, and he only threw like 50 yards.
Yeah.
The fact that we said a quarterback was going to throw 2 TDs, and that's a hot take, man.
Hey. What do you have, 3 total, though?
Yeah, he had 3 total.
I'll take it.
Yeah, definitely a hit. Cam Newton finished at quarterback 9 on the week. Fitzmagic did not play, but Tua got 16. Kind of a miss there.
Wait, did he pick somebody that didn't play?
Yeah, Brandon did.
I thought we were talking about like the actual team. I thought I was like actually, trying to tell them to start Fitzmagic. My bad.
Yeah, we'll talk to Brian Flores next time.
Did the Dolphins win?
Yeah,
Who did they play?
they played the Bengals.
Let's go.
Oh yeah. They had that. They had a couple
Tyler
of
Boyd
brawls.
got
Dude,
1 touchdown and turned into Void Man.
Brian Flores was trying to fight the whole Cincinnati Bengals. Did you see that?
Really?
I didn't see
Yeah.
that
So
part.
Miami punted the ball away, and then, or no, Cincinnati punted the ball away, and then the Miami returner called for a fair catch and just got dicked. And a little mini skirmish kind of happened, and then Brian Flores was just started making a beeline across the field because this happened on the opposite sideline.
Man, he a young coach. He could do it. He
Hell
can
yeah.
do it.
You'll have to see that. All right, moving on to the running backs. I had David Montgomery, and I said top 5, and he was running back 1. So we'll take
Good
that.
call.
We'll
Good
take
call.
that. Heck yeah. Against the Lions, I mean, I was shitting on him all week and last
No.
episode, but no,
Terrible
Matthew
idea.
Stafford said no.
Terrible idea.
Yeah.
Hey, skip me.
Brandon said James White. You want to talk about that one, Brandon?
He didn't score 17.2 points. He got 3.1, which if we move on to Bryce, that's more points than Benny Snell.
Oh, I'm real excited to talk about Benny
Snell didn't
Snell.
get his 25 touches.
I'm real excited to talk about Benny Snell. Let's keep moving.
You know, they would have won the game had they fed him. That's all I know.
Yeah.
Simple as that.
Remember when
If you're
you
running back
said
25
Benny Snell's
touches,
going to get
you
2
win.
touchdowns? And I said, that's fucking stupid.
Yeah, he had a couple goal line
Laughed.
runs, and then
You
they went
laughed,
for fourth down
Bryce.
and lost the game.
You laughed.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah, no, you said you were all caps and Benny Snell as well.
I also had Chase Claypool going off, but instead it was Deontay.
Zach was so excited for 5 points. This is a goodie.
Okay,
love
but
it.
I said Deontay still did what I thought Chase would do. Deontay.
Yeah.
did.
Yeah, I mean, Zach kind of called this one. Just very anti. Yeah. We'll get to Chase Claypool, but Zach said Melvin Gordon. He was RB 15 on the week. You take that 15.2 fantasy
Take
points.
that.
Boyer said Devontae Booker or Le'Veon Bell. And he said 19 points or something, I think, for Devontae
Idiot.
Booker.
Idiot.
Bryce, you have no room.
This dude's trash.
Stupid.
Talking after his
Bryce, you have no
stupid.
room.
Imagine
Yes.
thinking a backup's going to score more than 10. Absolutely not.
Wayne Gallman?
Okay, keep going.
Wayne Gallman?
Yes, sir. That's my boy.
Yeah, but you just said a
Nah,
backup.
it doesn't work like that. He's a
Benny
star.
fucking Snell, Bryce. Benny Snell.
Just
Yeah,
shut
he's
up,
a
Bryce.
All
You
right.
see that one TikTok of Benny Snell? And it was what it was from some TV show. Anyway,
All right. Say.
it
Uh,
was there.
All right, we'll move on to wide receivers. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of hit on this one as well. Corey Davis was my pick, and I said he will put up over 18 fantasy points. He put up 35.2 and was the wide receiver 1 on the week. I mean, if Bruce would
He
have
was on my
started him,
bench this week.
yeah, if Bruce would have started him against me, I would have lost probably.
Yep.
Yep. Brandon.
I had Hunter Renfro. I mean, they kind of like those 3 wide receiver core right there. They were kind of spread out until Ruggs got his touchdown, but they were all rocking around 8 to 9 fantasy points before that. So, I mean,
Yeah, I
he
mean,
was the guy leading in yards at that point out of them, but I mean, he's still only 8.7 points, and Ruggs got a touchdown, blew the other 2 out of the water, and yeah.
yeah, I mean, the wide receivers didn't really pay off for the Raiders, even though Derek Carr was going ham, because he was only throwing to Darren Waller. I mean,
Darren Waller on crack.
dude, Darren Waller was back on crack.
He
for
was-
sure.
Yeah. He did some lines before the game.
Yeah, I'm trying to pull it up. Darren Waller had 17 targets, so that's where your Hunter Renfro production came from.
Yeah, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah. Bruce, like he was talking about, he picked Chase Claypool for his start of the week.
Okay, and what I said too was that I literally said it won't be Deontay this week. It'll be Chase. This is Chase's week.
Yep.
And again, it was just Deontay's week.
Yeah, definitely.
It kind of seems like in every week thing now where Deontay's on the field, he's getting 10 plus targets.
Yeah,
Because, I mean, he's just slinging it to him. And, I mean, half the time he drops it. But
definitely. I think the problem with the Benny Snell take and all of their Steelers running backs is that this offense will throw it 60 times a game, no matter
Oh
what.
yeah, it's insane.
No matter what.
Yeah.
And all 60 of those passes are within 10 yards of the line of scrimmage.
Which is annoying because I saw like a chart of Juju's routes
Yeah.
and like he was catching every ball at the line of scrimmage and everybody's like, he needs to get more yards after catch. He can't.
Yeah.
He literally can't.
Yeah, definitely.
And
Something's
that's
up.
Randy Fichtner for you.
Yeah, I think the Steelers offense needs something else. But anyway, Zach called Jarvis Landry.
Hit.
Definitely
Jarvis
a hit.
Landry popped off.
Wide receiver 14 on the week, 20 fantasy points.
Yeah.
Boyer went with
Good receiver
Devontae.
week.
Yeah, it was. It definitely was. Boyer called Devontae Parker, 7.5 fantasy points. I'm glad I pivoted to Corey Davis. But yeah, tight ends, I said Jordan Akins. The Houston Texans wide receiver production was really filled by wide receivers. So I just missed on that for sure. Brandon got a hit at the tight end position.
Let's go. That was a
Almost
6
guessed
points
the
off my
points
projection. on him.
too.
What did you say, Brandon?
I was 0.6 points off my little guess for him.
Yeah.
So, let's go.
Yeah, 10.5 fantasy points. That definitely helps at your tight end spot. Bruce got a top 8 tight end and Bob Tunyon. 13.9 fantasy points. You'll love to see
Go
that.
Pack,
All
go.
because of a touchdown, but hey,
Yeah, I mean,
Go
that's
Pack,
tight
go.
ends, baby.
yep. Unless their names like Darren Waller or Travis Kelce at this point.
Yep. Zach called Eric Ebron. Eric, Mr. Drop Man. Ebron.
Dropped him as prime, baby.
Hell yeah.
He dropped a lot still, and he still dropped 13.8.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Like, same way with Deontay. Like, Deontay could have put up 30 plus if he would have just caught the
yeah.
ball. Ebron could have went for 20. Like, they just need to catch
I
the
wish
ball.
he did.
Yeah. And Boyer called Kyle Rudolph, who laid a fat 0. I'm going to go with a miss on that one.
Goosey.
A nice little goose egg. So, yeah, I feel like we all did fairly good. Like, we all got 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait.
Well,
Brandon did kind of miss. I mean, Tyler Eifert. You'll take Tyler Eifert. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, Boyer got the quarterback one, so that means a lot. But all right, we'll move on from our starts of the week. We'll talk about more starts of the week on our next podcast for this next first round of the playoffs. But moving on to our game picks on the week, Bruce was 5-4, who led the way. Myself, Brandon, and Zach at 4-5, and Boyer at 3-6. We all missed on the Cleveland game. I mean, who thought that Baker was going to be a competent quarterback? You can kind of expect it like once every 6 games or so, and this was one of them. Okay, Zach, you kind of rode with the Lions. I love to see that. We all picked Chicago. You love to see.
Who won?
Yeah. Y'all can
Who won?
leave my boys alone. Leave them alone. You know what? We not losing again.
So Bruce had
Playoffs.
a hot take from this this game. He said that the Lions don't break double digits and Chicago scores 30. The
My man
final
Bryce
score is
coming from, like,
34. Lions. So Bruce, you're a little cold there, huh?
Bruce was cold this week.
Bruce was
Hey,
a little
sometimes
cold.
you just got to take a shot in the dark.
Yeah. All right. I
Sometimes it
respect it. Sometimes you gotta say that Ryan Fitzpatrick's gonna be quarterback start of the week when he doesn't even start on his team.
I don't know why we came back to that, but it's all right. Yeah.
We all picked KC, and then the New England game. Imagine picking the Chargers, who didn't even score a point. That was kind of interesting.
Stupid.
Myself and Bruce got that one. Brandon was the only one who picked Washington. All right.
Let's go.
Because I remember when my computer decided to just shoot shits, go in Brandon's room. Brandon chooses Washington and then just bumps my shoulder, goes, Hey man, I'm really about to go over this week.
I remember that. I remember that. God damn it.
That was a rough one to watch.
Yeah. Wrapping it up, Brandon and Zach were the only ones that called the Baltimore-Dallas game. I kind of started the the tyranny against Baltimore by picking Dallas, but
Hey, I'm gonna vote for them or vote against them every single week. So
I respect it. So yeah, the Steelers, they're 11-1 now. Their offense is it's just hard to watch. They need to run the ball. It's like they're trying to not really do what the Chiefs are doing, of course, but like they're just throwing the ball way too much to me. And then that defense is now picking up some injuries late in the season, which is never ideal. But that's the side of the ball that's been really like showing out and like carrying them through the season. I feel like Bruce, as a Steelers fan, I feel like you know the most about this. What do you think about the Steelers going forward?
they need. They need to get rid of Randy. They've needed to get rid of Randy for the last however many years. The offense does good when it's Ben's offense. When Ben is in no huddle, the offense moves because it's what he wants and what he knows what to do, seeing what's given to him on the field. And I really think they started off the season well, running the ball, and they need to get back to being able to running the ball again.
Yeah.
And then, the defense is good. It's not as good as it was at the beginning of the season now that they've lost Bush. Now Spillane is out and Bud Dupree's out. So, and Spillane's going to miss a couple weeks, and that's Bush's backup. So, but I feel like the middle of the field's going to be a little sus for a couple weeks, but hopefully once playoffs come around, they'll get better.
Yeah. Definitely some problems in Pittsburgh now.
Yeah.
It kind of reminds me of, not directly, just because of like how successful they've been, the Patriots last season. Everyone was praising the Patriots for like, I think they started like 9-1 or something, and like they were bad. Like their offense was just awful. Their defense was good, but they played no one, so it didn't matter. And then once we started playing actually good teams like the Chiefs in the middle of the season, the Pats just kind of got exposed for the poor team that they were last year. You good, man?
Yeah, I muted for a second. But they needed the loss.
Yeah.
To just get brought back down to earth and just play.
Yeah.
Not just like go into a week thinking you're going to win. Not go into the week thinking, oh, we're playing a team without a name, we're going to win.
Yeah.
They need to not be dancing on the field, dancing on logos before the game.
I think if Washington had a quarterback, no disrespect to Alex Smith. No disrespect to Alex Smith.
We love Alex Smith. This is Alex Smith's show.
100%. 100%. We love Alex Smith. Put a top half quarterback in the league on that team. They're positive this year.
Yeah, they have their defense. And also
it's great.
With Ben, I've never seen a quarterback that tall get every other pass is getting batted down at the line.
Yeah, that has to be the short routes, right? I mean, it has to.
I mean, yeah, just not throwing deep, I guess.
And that's how the game ended.
Yeah.
I mean,
the batted ball that finally got picked. It was about time one was going to get picked.
And everyone says like the Washington defense is really good, but it's just like the line. But like the secondary is great too. They're shutting down as well. All right, so that ends our Steelers talk. We have to, because we got a Steelers fan and they finally lost a game. Moving on to a new segment. Now that we are going into the playoffs, starting the first week, we're going to talk about some players who we trust and who we don't going into the playoffs. Going to bring up some guys who are either trending up or who've been playing poor in later weeks. So I kind of have it broke down by position. Just go ahead and jump in if you have a name you want to bring up. But I have a few down here. So we'll start off with Russell Wilson. Like, let Russ cook was the huge thing at the beginning of the season. He was going insane, MVP candidate. But since week 10, he's the quarterback 17. His playoff schedule is really – they have the Jets to start off with, but Washington and the Rams. Last week they lose to the Giants. Brandon has Russell Wilson. He also has Josh Allen, who's another quarterback that we will talk about later. But in our league, Brandon, do you want to talk about Russell Wilson and how you're feeling about him? Hey, Brandon, you there, man?
Yeah, it's kind of connection unstable. Yeah, stuff like that.
All right. Did you hear what I said?
Hey, what's going on?
So we were talking about Russell
kind of.
Wilson.
I heard.
All right, so we were talking about Russell Wilson. He's the quarterback 17th since week 10. His playoff schedule is nice for the first week, but then Washington and the Rams. How much do you trust him since he's gotten cold after being the MVP front runner in the first half of the season?
I mean, I don't really trust him that much until he has a hot game, because I feel like once he gets hot, he's just going to roll. Doesn't care about the defense. He's going to do great. But until he has a hot game, I'm probably not going to start him. Same with Josh Allen. If he's hot, he's going to stay hot. You ride the person that's hot out of those two.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, if you have both on your team, but
yeah, I mean, Russell Wilson was quarterback 22 last week. The Giants do not get enough credit for how good of a defense they are. They're actually pretty decent. But, I mean, let's go back to week 10, 9 points against the Rams, who he faces in the playoffs, fantasy football playoffs. Arizona 20, Philly 14, Giants 15. I mean, he's definitely gotten very cold. Personally, I mean, in most other leagues, he's probably your main quarterback and you're kind of streaming elsewhere. And I just look to stream until, like Brandon said, Russell gets hot. However, he does play the Jets. I mean, if he's going to get hot, this is the game to start it off with. Moving on to the next player, I have Josh Allen written down. He's a quarterback 7 since week 5. His playoff schedule this next coming week starts off against Pittsburgh, Denver, and then New England. So a bit tougher. In Brandon's case, once again, he has Josh Allen. So you have the really nice matchup against the Jets for Russell, but then he's not playing well. And then you have Josh Allen, who just lit the world on fire this past week, but he gets Pittsburgh.
I mean, good thing this week doesn't matter for me. But
that's true.
But for other people, Brandon, that aren't as good as you, you know.
I mean, I feel like if you have Russell Wilson and Josh Allen on your team, you probably also have a bye this week, unless it's not set up like that. But I mean, I don't know who I'd start out of those two at this point, because it is Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
And Josh Allen's been doing great. And then you have Jets for someone that's not as hot. You just whatever one you have the gut feeling on at that point, honestly.
Yeah, definitely. Moving on to the next player, I have Baker Mayfield, quarterback 6 since week 12, which is past 2 weeks. And I kind of threw out the 3 weeks before because they were the weather games, and he put up 6 points on average because they were running the ball 50 times. His playoff schedule is Baltimore, Giants, Jets. That's really friendly towards the back half. But I mean, I feel like you don't trust him, especially against Baltimore.
It's Baker.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have him on my team anyway.
He's had 2 good games now. You know what that means? It means he's gonna throw 2 bad games out.
Yep.
Yeah, that's very
That
true.
he can't hold on to it. Simply
The cycle continues.
Incredibly inconsistent. Yeah, I just kind of threw him in because those 3 bad weather games in the past 2 weeks, he's done well. And then, did you guys see that baseball slide? That was sick.
That was sick.
Yeah, that was
Celebration.
That was pretty tight.
But he did the spin too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was dope.
You love that. So the next player I have put in is Justin Herbert. He was quarterback 30 last week. From week 2 to 12, he was a quarterback 4. He gets Atlanta, Las Vegas, and Denver. Super friendly. I think this last game was just Bill Belichick kind of just took him out of the game. The defense played really well, and the Chargers just did not answer at all. I just think you throw this up to Bill Belichick against rookie quarterbacks.
I mean, I'm totally lost.
I would be perfectly okay with him doing terrible this week. So I like Justin Herbert, but sorry, man, you're playing against.
He got rid of the flow. He got rid of the flow. I can't be. I'm a little less on the Justin Herbert train after he got rid of the flow, but
he kind of ugly without the hair.
He genuinely looks like he's 16 again. Like if he didn't before, he definitely does now. That Atlanta Las Vegas, those two matchups are juicy. I feel like you just throw him back out there and he puts up a top 3 performance again.
Mm-hmm.
Tom Brady.
I wrote that one down.
Quarterback for the Bucks. Take her away.
There's a little bit of stat checking. Since week 10, Tom Brady hasn't even been QB 10. He's been QB 12. It doesn't look good for Tom there. However, it's the Buccaneers offense. And when they get hot, and it's probably one of the most difficult to stop. And his schedule is probably.
Are you going to rhyme the rest of the way?
Bars. Tom Brady has the easiest playoff schedule out of any quarterback. His matchups go Minnesota, Atlanta, Detroit, and then Atlanta again. That is by far the easiest playoff schedule out of any quarterback.
That's real nice.
Stack onto the fact that you got 4 weapons that you can pass to, plus not even getting into running backs at that point. I don't see a situation where Tom Brady doesn't jump into the top 5 for quarterbacks at that point.
Yeah.
I think it'd be disappointing if he didn't.
Definitely. Are there any arguments against it? So you wouldn't say – so what are we thinking? Like 5 from here on out? He's quarterback 5 from week 13 through week 16 or whatever?
I think he could.
Yeah.
I think there's a very high possibility he ends up being that, especially when you look at some of the top quarterbacks matchups. Josh Allen against Pittsburgh, Denver, and New England. That's kind of tough on quarterbacks. They shut down Kyler Murray, who's New England did. They shut down Kyler Murray, who's, I don't want to say, they're the same sort of play style almost.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't see a situation where he doesn't go to top 5.
Yeah. I mean, I've been eyeing this for a while now, and then in our league, I got Pat Mahomes, and so then I just didn't even care about it there anymore. But like, I've literally been looking at this like since they got AB.
I see you dropped AB too, by the way.
What was that?
You dropped AB?
Yeah, I mean,
I dropped him in another league too.
He hasn't done anything.
He hasn't even caught a touchdown yet.
He hasn't done anything that tells me that he's like the alpha on the team, and that's the only reason why I picked him up. I mean, I have other players who are performing.
It's like Tampa Bay. If you're not a quarterback, it's a logjam.
Yeah,
that's kind of how I see that team.
Definitely, just too many people in there getting pieces of the pie. I want one person getting the big old piece of the pie.
I want a big pie.
Hell yeah. Next player, moving on to running backs. I got David Montgomery. RB 14 through week 9. But the past 2 weeks, he's averaged 26 fantasy points, which puts him at RB 1. He hits Houston, Minnesota, Jacksonville. I think that, so kind of the narrative before the past 2 weeks is that David Montgomery's just been lock it in your lineup if you need 8 points. But I think these last 5 weeks of the season, with these 3 upcoming, he could still stay top 4 running back if they keep giving the ball like they are. Houston is poor on the ground, Minnesota as well, and Jacksonville is just a poor defense overall.
Love Jacksonville, right, Brandon?
They're not that bad.
I agree.
I got one, by the way.
They almost beat Minnesota.
Take her away.
Miles Gaskin. He's coming back from injury. First week, gets 23 touches, 21 carries. And he's got a pretty favorable schedule for the playoffs. He's got New England this week, but then next week you got Las Vegas, and then this week against Kansas City, next week against New England. The third week of the playoffs, he's got Las Vegas, and I know that there was some of the backups were out too.
Yeah, so Matt Breida, I don't think played, and neither did Shalvin Ahmed.
But I don't know. I could just see him just keep getting the touches.
And they got rid of Jordan
that
Howard.
kind of running back who can just take the touches.
And I talked to you about this the other day. There was literally 3 instances that I can remember where Miles Gaskin got to like the 5 or like broke one off and just got tackled at the last like 5 or 6 yards.
Yeah.
Like he could have had 2 or 3 big touchdowns that game. I think Miles Gaskin rest of the season is RB1 territory.
Yeah. I think he's going to be a lock in my lineup the rest of the season.
Definitely.
Especially with Miles Sanders being sus. So.
Mm-hmm. All right. So next player we will hop into.
Pause.
Hopping into a guy.
All right. Who said that? Clyde Edwards-Helaire, RB13 on the season, gets Miami, New Orleans, Atlanta. So last week he was a healthy scratch, didn't practice like all week with illness. And then I just like I don't know, I'm very off on Clyde. They gave every touch to Lev, saw that he didn't do anything, and then they started to get Darrell Williams involved. And then I just think that it's like we were talking about with the Steelers running backs earlier. They just do not run the ball enough for it to matter for fantasy.
It's like the Chiefs either run the ball 25 times or they run it like 6 times. There's no in between.
Yeah.
I think it depends on the defense most of the time.
It's kind of funny because I feel like they come into the game, they're like, all right, we're going to run the ball. First, like 2 drives, they'll run it like 4 or 5 plays in a row and then pass and get a touchdown. Run it 4 or 5 plays in a row, pass and get a touchdown. And they're like, why are we even running the ball? Like,
yeah.
Which, I mean, when they need to run the ball, they sort of can. It'll just be interesting once they get into actual playoffs to see how they do if they ever run into where they have to run the ball, which I feel like they'll need to at some point. Zach, I'm assuming you wrote down Nick Chubb?
I did write down Nick Chubb. How'd you guess?
You got it, man. I don't know.
So, my man Nick Chubb, we know who Nick Chubb is. There's no need for an introduction. He came back from injury, and he's been a consistent 15-plus scorer. I love Nick Chubb. I think Nick Chubb's a top 5 running back, honestly. Hot take.
He just breaks runs.
He does. He's huge. Like when you watch him, he looks big. Granted, he's not Derrick Henry big, but no one's Derrick Henry big. He plays Baltimore week 14. So if you have a round 1, it's not going to be. The last time he played Baltimore was week 1, where he dropped 6 points.
Yeah.
Wow. That was phenomenal from Brandon. I think it's a different story. I think that Baltimore they're not feeling themselves. I don't think Nick Chubb's going to struggle that hard again. But after that, he gets both of the New York defenses. And both of them are notorious for, not defending the run. And it's Nick Chubb. The Browns run the ball like hell.
Yeah, especially talking about Baltimore. Calais Campbell is not himself. He's hurt right now, and they are struggling without him.
Exactly. I don't see a situation where Nick Chubb doesn't get you at least 15 plus still, even with playing Baltimore defense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the past 3 weeks, speaking about Nick Chubb, you always have to talk about Kareem Hunt. In PPR, Kareem Hunt is put up 9 against Philly, 6 against Jacksonville, and 8 versus Tennessee. And in all those games, the most touches he had was 17. which is a massive share.
That's
but
a
they
lot
run
of
the
that's a
ball.
lot of touches.
They run the ball so much that it just doesn't matter. Both running backs will
Mm.
get close to 20 touches.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I didn't even look at Nick Chubb just because I don't really have him in many leagues, but definitely, I mean, by the end of this season, if we look at this 3-game stretch, he could be top 5 again.
I hope he is. That'd be dandy if he was.
Yeah, definitely. All right, so I wrote down Steelers running backs because it was like pre-James Conner news. But James Conner's RB14 on the season, but it just has not come with enough volume. And it's been fairly inconsistent, and it was very like front-loaded on the schedule where that production came from. They play Bills, Bengals, Colts to end off the season. The Bills have been a decent defense, but not very great against the run. Same with Cincinnati; they've been poor against the run, and the Colts, no one's getting anything done against the Colts. But
Derrick Henry, though.
That is true, yeah. They use Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
But I mean, we've talked about this like 3 times already. That they just do not run the ball enough. There's not
And a
enough
lot of
ball.
the time with James, his touches get poached. I feel like
Sure.
I remember like either at the beginning or halfway through the season, run with James Conner all the way down to the 1, and then Benny Snell or somebody else runs it in for a touchdown.
Yeah.
Or they run a play to Claypool.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, James Conner has not gone over 17 fantasy points since week 3. He's just not getting enough touches. Not really getting a lot of receiving work. Yeah, I'm worried about Steelers and Chiefs running backs. It'll be interesting though if they do get to the run, because I mean James Conner is a talented player. Next running back, we got Miles Sanders. This Philly offense is very poor as of late, especially. Since coming off injury, Miles Sanders is the running back 33, which was in week 10 when he came back. And from weeks 2 through 6, he was the RB10. So early in the season, he was great, top 12 running back, but coming off injury, not getting the volume. Bruce, you have Miles Sanders. Faces New Orleans, Arizona, and Dallas. You love the Dallas matchup if you can get there in the fantasy playoffs. How do you feel about Miles Sanders?
I hope that with Jalen Hurts maybe in the offense, they finally get things going. But that Eagle offense is just not – and I hate watching it too.
Mm-hmm.
And then also they put in Boston Scott, and he just rips one. And then Jordan Howard got a good amount of touches, I think. So it's just hard because there's 2 other running backs getting like the same amount of touches as him up close, I guess. And I mean, the beginning of the season he was ripping runs, and now he's just like here and there he'll get one, but he's missing touchdowns too. And I feel like a couple are getting poached. I feel like he's pretty touchdown dependent now.
I feel like it's going to be different with Hurts though, because you watch Hurts play in comparison to Wentz. Wentz is if the pass game isn't working, Wentz would be the one to chuck it down the field and pray. Jalen Hurts was a lot more conservative when it came to playing against the Packers. He was way more okay with doing some run plays than Carson Wentz ever was.
Yeah.
I feel like that's one of the toughest things to guess, just because, rookie quarterback, you're not going to be able to tell.
And first week, New Orleans Saints. I mean, that's not the team you want to face.
No, it is not.
At least it's in Philly and not in the Superdome. But I mean, the Saints and an experienced head coach,
Yeah, he's not
Problematic.
in my lineup this week.
Yeah. I feel like the biggest take for yourself as a Miles Sanders owner is that you're thankful you have Miles Gaskin.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, moving on to some wide receivers. Corey Davis, wide receiver 7 since week 10. He gets Jacksonville, Detroit, Green Bay. I mean, those are like the 3 defenses you want. That is juicy as hell.
Hey, Bryce, you got Corey Davis, right?
Oh, I've had Corey Davis for a long time now.
Don't start him
Why not?
because I don't want to play you in the second round with Corey Davis going
Yeah.
against Detroit.
Dude,
I don't trust my defense, man.
yeah. I mean, Corey Davis has gotten double-digit fantasy points every week except for against Chicago.
He's
where he
so
got shut out.
underrated, I feel like.
This is his breakout year. Like,
Yeah,
this
and
is
It's
like
contract
fourth or-
year. It's his
yeah.
contract year.
I mean, he wants money.
Yeah.
So the past 5 weeks, broken down between AJ Brown and Corey Davis. Targets for AJ Brown 33 to 31 for Davis, and air yards for AJ Brown 434 to Davis's 416. So they're just very even. Like everyone looks at AJ Brown as this physical beast of a wide receiver, like DK Metcalf, like can break the play and take it to the house, which he's done a few times. But Corey Davis is getting it done more consistently. Like if you take away touchdowns from AJ Brown, granted, if you take away touchdowns from anyone, their production drops off. But AJ Brown has just been getting a touchdown like every game, and Corey Davis hasn't. But if he does get into that end zone, you see another week like this week where he puts up 30 plus.
And I mean, you take out his 1 week where he had the old goose egg, he's like start worthy. Like every single one of those weeks is above 10 points or not. Well, not that that's start worthy, but I
It
mean,
doesn't hurt you.
since he came back from being injured, he's been so consistent other than the goose egg. So,
And especially for wide receivers, like wide receivers, every wide receiver, no matter what, they will have a game below 7 points.
yeah,
Like doesn't matter
like
if
it's going to happen.
yeah. But I mean, Corey Davis has been incredibly consistent, not getting in the end zone very often. I mean, 12 targets last week. And
Yeah,
these
he caught
matchups,
11 of them.
dude, oh my gosh. And if you play in a week 17 league, you get Houston as well. Like,
Oh my.
That's just unfair. What?
no, dude, what did the Titans do? The Titans might make a Super Bowl run with this schedule. I mean, they just get hot after losing to the Browns. They win 4 in a row, go into the playoffs.
Another little run by the Titans.
I mean, it's not out of the picture.
I can't trust that defense anymore. Maybe not.
Very true. All right. Moving on from Corey Davis, going on to Cole Beasley. Wide receiver 11 since week 10. He's the wide receiver 5 in average points since the bye week in week 11. He's the wide receiver 5 in average points if you take away the bye week in week 11. Gets Pittsburgh, the Broncos, and New England, so not exactly favorable matchups. However, he's a slot guy, so he's not going to be facing the best cornerbacks. Pittsburgh secondary is suspect. It's good, but it's not what the rest of that defense is. And especially with linebackers missing in the middle, that's where he gets the job done. Denver just lost A.J. Boye, so Stephon Diggs and Cole Beasley have great matchups. And New England, Stephon Gilmore's going to be on Diggs. Like, I like Cole Beasley going into these playoffs.
Cole Beasley is an interesting one. It's a really interesting one. Mainly, 1 second. I have to check his pass. Ooh, memento, por favor.
Dude's 31 and getting it done.
I know, it's just.
It's very Julian Edelman-like from last year. Like,
I can't trust a wide receiver that Josh Allen's throwing to. Not saying Josh Allen is like a bad throwing quarterback. He's definitely better than he was last year. It's just I don't think he has that throwing experience to keep it going to Cole Beasley,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and this offense is very adamant to getting Stephon Diggs the ball.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, as long as John Brown's out, I really like Cole Beasley. And honestly, these defenses, you look at them right away and you're like, okay, these are poor matchups. But like I said earlier, I really like them. So moving on to the next wide receiver, we got DeAndre Hopkins. Kind of going along with a broken Kyler Murray at the moment. Very interesting. Could have been another player we could have talked about, but did I write this one down, Zach, or did you?
That was you. No,
Okay.
You wrote that down.
So he's the wide receiver 17 since week 9, which is not something that you would really think about since the hot start in the beginning. Since week 11, wide receiver 20, and for the first 7 weeks, he was the number 1 wide receiver. He gets the Giants, Philly, and San Francisco. The San Francisco one's a little bit suspect. Their defense is still really good like last year. Philly, he gets Darius Slay. So, I mean, Darius Slay is a good cornerback, but he just kind of gotten roasted the past 2 weeks because he played
He's been getting roasted
top
too.
5 wide receivers.
You watch Philadelphia games, Slay's getting roasted now. He's turning into a zone corner, and it's kind of sad to see.
Yeah. So as the D-Hop owner, Zach, do you want to talk about Hopkins a little bit and his struggles recently?
I think it's mainly a matchup thing. Playing New England this week, they played the Rams. He still dropped 19 on the Rams. That's a Jalen Ramsey cover, and he still dropped 19. That's impressive.
Yeah.
At this point, is it safe to say Jalen Ramsey's like the number 1 cornerback?
Yeah, I think so.
I'd say Jalen Ramsey's probably number 1, but just because it's a D-Hop, just because of his name, I'm gonna be playing him. I'm not gonna have full confidence he's gonna be my game changer against these defenses, though.
Yeah.
Not even just because of not because of wide receiver matchup against these defenses, but quarterback too. Besides the Giants, Philly and San Fran are top half for quarterback defenses. And like you said, they're playing with not broken, but a little bit of a hobbled up Kyler Murray at the moment.
Yeah. Bruce was talking about the route tree for Juju. There's a route tree for D-Hop these past 3 games. It's literally 10 yards at max, and it's just outs on the left side of the field.
Mm.
That's it. So
I feel like they're not utilizing D-Hop correctly at this point.
Michael Thomas is slant man.
I mean, whether that's because of the Kyler Murray injury, that's not really an injury that they're not really disclosing, and they're just kind of throwing it under the rug. I really think that's affecting him. I mean,
I think you play him just because of the name and what offense he's in, but at the end of the day, I don't think he's going to be a game changer.
so
I mean, I'm sorry.
No. So I'm going to ask a question. So the rest of these playoffs, these next 3 weeks, who do you think finishes higher? Cole Beasley or D-Hop?
Oh, that's such a mean question.
Yeah.
D-Hop.
I like D-Hop's matchups a little better than Cole Beasley's, and it's not by much.
What about Corey Davis?
No, Corey Davis is about to blow up.
So you take Davis as well?
Corey Davis is in the same realm as Tom Brady for me at the moment. I think that Corey Davis has a chance to be playoff MVP.
Yeah. All of the Titans.
Yeah.
100%.
Oh, yeah. Their schedule is just incredible.
Mm-hmm. Brandon, do you think Beasley or Davis over D-Hop next 3 weeks?
Definitely Davis. I like Beasley a lot, so I'm gonna go ahead and say Beasley. I don't know something about him. I just like him. I actually see him score more than D-Hop, but D-Hop I still see him 15 points. I mean, it's still Hopkins.
Yeah, I take Beasley, and I also take Davis over D-Hop. We'll write it down. We'll revisit end of the 3 weeks. Very interesting. From such a great offense in the beginning to pretty poor now.
Fantasy football.
Hey, what's up, Luke?
Hey, Luke.
Hey, Luke.
Boys.
We're recording, by the way.
Welcome to the pod.
Yeah, welcome in.
Hey, thanks, man. It's an honor.
No problem.
Hey, so we got an important question for you, man.
Yeah.
In the playoffs, actually, Colin, you want to ask him? You want to ask him this question?
Yeah, so we're talking about the next 3 weeks. So who finishes higher in these 3 weeks upcoming? DeAndre Hopkins, Cole Beasley, or Corey Davis?
I'm gonna have to go with Corey Davis.
He knows.
That's what we said.
He
He's
knows.
been impressing lately.
Do you
Have you
put
seen his schedule? Luke, have you?
I have not.
it's Jacksonville, Detroit, and Green Bay?
Very favorable.
Juicy. Do you put D-Hop over Cole Beasley?
In the last 3 weeks or on the season?
Yeah, just these last 3 weeks.
Honestly, I think you have to go with Cole Beasley over the last 3 weeks.
I love that.
Wow.
DeAndre Hopkins, he's a kind of more of a hit or miss type guy. I wouldn't have said that at the start of the season, but lately that's how it's been.
It is
Yeah.
a big change.
True.
I gotta say, it's a big change.
Yeah, definitely unfortunate. But we will move on to the next player, Allen Robinson. I saw Brandon writing it down. Take her away.
I mean, Allen Robinson has a beautiful playoff schedule, too. And for a target hog like him, he's got Houston, Minnesota, Jacksonville. He's wide receiver 13 on the season. I mean, it's Allen Robinson on the Bears. He's going to get the targets, and he's only had one game where he scored less than 10 points. That was week 2, I believe. So, I mean, he's scoring 10-plus every game. Maybe he doesn't get a touchdown. You know, he's getting 60, 70 yards, 5, 6 catches, something like that. So you throw in a touchdown in there, throw in 2 touchdowns. I mean, it just depends on how the game goes. He's going to go from 10 to 25. I mean, that's the range I see him rocking in, and especially with these kind of matchups, see him rocking around 20 on these games.
Yeah, I remember trying to target him before we got into playoffs. Houston, Minnesota, Jacksonville. I mean, that.
You talk about a juicy matchup with Corey Davis.
Yeah.
It's just a major difference between who's throwing the ball too.
Yeah. So we all said Corey Davis over D-Hop. Does Allen Robinson get over Corey Davis?
No.
Yeah, I'd say he's below.
In the last 3 weeks?
Yeah, last 3 weeks.
No way.
Again, it's the quarterback problem, man. You can't. I don't trust Mitch. I never will trust Mitch.
Yeah.
Bring back Foles. Bring him back.
He's slinging that thing.
Oh yeah.
He does not give a fuck.
Mm-mm.
All right. We'll move on to Hunter Henry, tight end 6 on the season. Weeks 10 through 12, he was tight end 3. Last week, he put up 1.5. He gets Atlanta, Las Vegas, and Denver to wrap out the season. Zach, you have Hunter Henry. Was last week concerning, like with Justin Herbert kind of getting game planned out, or
Man,
where do you stand?
it's Justin Herbert against Bill Belichick. Rookie quarterback against Bill Belichick. It's never going to work. It's never going to work. That was such a fluke game for the Chargers.
Yeah.
If they didn't come back and win these next 3 games, I'm going to be shocked. I mean,
their coach talked about their situation now is kind of like Pearl Harbor.
a true national tragedy.
So I don't know if he has the guys fired up about that or just like sad. I don't know how you take that as a player.
If you get called a terrorist attack, how do you react to that?
I don't know. I don't know how you take that.
Wait, what?
We were talking about
What did I miss?
We were talking about Anthony Lynn's talking about the Chargers situation similar to Pearl Harbor.
That's what he said.
I love that.
Yeah, Yeah, I mean,
How was that the first thing that came into his head?
I know.
Had he been reciting that? He had to have
right?
been.
He's like, I've been waiting for this moment. Pearl Harbor Day was like 2 days ago. God damn it. We
Dude,
did ask,
okay, so how are the Chargers bad?
dude, I don't know. If the GM and the head coach get fired, that's the job you want.
Honestly, like they have so much talent, and it's all young talent too.
Mhm.
Well, besides
I feel like
Keenum.
they have a lot of injuries on defense too, though.
Very
Well,
true.
even then,
They're
those have
always
picked
injured.
up.
What?
Those have picked up. They're not as injured anymore.
True.
Is King back in, or am I just tripping?
He plays for a different team.
Yeah, he's
Desmond
on the
King?
Titans.
He's on the Titans.
He's on the Titans now, isn't he? Shit. Never mind. I take that.
I don't know why they
back.
traded him. That was stupid.
6th rounder.
Yeah.
6 wraps. Seems
I would have
pretty
taken
fair
him
to
for
me.
like a 4th
Yeah.
rounder.
Who's the other secondary? Casey Hayward?
Desmond. No, not Desmond.
Is he the beast? Is it him?
Luke? Who was
Derwin.
it?
Derwin.
Derwin James?
Derwin James, yeah.
Derwin
But he
James.
got hurt beginning of the season. He got hurt on Hard Knocks. Yeah. But yeah, we did ask a question, Bruce, while you were gone. So we were talking about Allen Robinson, and we were also talking about ranking Davis over D-Hop. Does Allen Robinson get over Davis these last 3 weeks?
No.
That's all we said. That.
What's
as
your
well.
reasoning for
Yeah.
that, Bryce?
I mean, if I'm putting Corey Davis over all of these other players, what is Allen Robinson's schedule?
Houston, Minnesota, Jacksonville.
That's also pretty favorable.
That's even better.
The only reason we all agreed was just because Mitch.
Yeah.
That's the only
Yeah.
reason.
Common denominator.
I was gonna say Bears, but I mean that's also Mitch.
The
so.
Bears.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Bears.
The Bears.
Yeah. Next player, Austin Hooper, tight end 25 since he came back from his appendectomy, which
a big
was
word.
weeks 10 through 13. He was tight end 6 weeks 4 through 6. Can he get back to that pace before his appendix tried to blow up and kill him? He's got Baltimore, Giants, Jets. I don't know. I don't trust it. It's Baker.
I'm dropping him this week. So if you guys want him, I'm dropping him, but I don't think so.
I don't want him.
Who is it? Who is it?
Hooper, Austin Hooper.
Austin Hooper.
Hooper.
Oh, yeah,
Hooper.
Yeah, kind of out on Hooper rest of the season. Brandon, you wrote down Gronk.
Gronk, you already went through Tom Brady's, schedule. It's an amazing schedule. And, I mean, I see an easy 10 points with Gronk against Minnesota, Atlanta, Detroit, which 10 points pretty solid for tight ends this year.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think he's just – if he's out there and you can grab him, he's a solid play you can throw in there. He's going to score you some points. He has a possibility of going off. I mean, heck, a few games ago he dropped 100 yards. I mean, he gets a decent amount of targets. It's not incredible, but he's there. He's definitely going to score some points.
Yep. I like Gronk. This schedule, again, just too nice. So those were some players who we kind of had some trust and some distrust in for the rest of the playoffs. Luke, do you have any players you want to bring up?
I kind of want to talk about let's talk about Zeke.
Okay,
Ooh.
let's do it.
What do we see out of Zeke? Because he keeps showing some signs of hopes. They're not huge signs, obviously. He put up 13.5 this week. Before that, he's struggled 100%.
Yeah.
Is it mainly his just not having Dak there? Is that the problem, or is it his O-line, or what do you guys think?
So to me, I don't know exactly when Dak went down. I think it was week 4, week 5. But so starting in week 6, from week 6 on, he's gotten 1 touchdown. It's just offense not moving the ball to get him into those situations where he's scoring. And before that, he had 2, 3, 4, 5. He had 6 touchdowns in the first 5 weeks of the season. Like watching that game last night, he looked good. Like he had those bursts. He would break a few tackles and he flashed and looked really good. But the offense is just not good enough.
Hey man, silence your phone.
But yeah, I mean, running back 2, rest of the season, I think you can put him into your lineup still. I think so.
I think he's still reasonable to play. His matchups for the playoffs are they could be better. Cincinnati, San Fran, Philadelphia.
Yeah. I mean, you just have to win the first week. Like in playoffs, you just got to win the first week. And Cincinnati's the best matchup. So, I mean, you got to play him against Cincinnati, I think.
I have another running back I'd like to talk about, and that is Wayne Gallman. What do we think about him?
We are Wayne Gallman lovers in this
I like
house.
Wayne.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just making sure we're all on the same page because Wayne Gallman is my lifesaver right now.
Yep.
Bit of a beast.
I just
Them having Saquon and Devontae Freeman out, I think he's better than Devontae Freeman, honestly.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
And I like him right now. He's my go-to guy.
I get that. I don't see him as a playoff start though.
Yeah, I mean, only if you have injuries, then possibly.
Yeah. It's
No.
just his matchups are Arizona, Cleveland, and Baltimore.
Yeah.
Which I mean, we were just talking about Baltimore, saying that hey, maybe we shouldn't worry about Baltimore too much anymore. But it's the Giants' offense at that point too.
Yeah. And by that, I don't know the extent of Calais Campbell's injury. I thought he was out for a long term, but then he played last night. So maybe he misses some more time. Baltimore week 16 gives him time to come back. And again, I was talking about Zeke's touchdown rate. I mean, Wayne Gallman has scored a touchdown in every game that he really started to come onto the scene, except for last week. So they're really proficient in the red zone. So I think that is all of our playoff trust and mistrust. We'll talk our picks for the Thursday night game. New England against LA in LA. New England has stayed out there over the weekend. And I have got to pick the Pats. I was originally thinking Rams, and I think the Rams win this game, but I have to pick the Pats. I have to.
Even in Los Angeles?
They just 45-0'd Los Angeles.
Oh shit, my bad. Oh my bad. Oh no.
But yeah, I have to pick the Pats. What do you guys see?
Brandon's got to pick in.
I got not the Jags. My bad. Wrong game. My bad. I'm gonna go ahead and choose the Rams.
All right.
I agree with the Rams.
Big Rams believer.
I will have to say the Rams have my pick.
All right.
Yeah.
I got a lot of if you guys missed this, I go ahead. So
Huh?
What do you say?
I mean, everyone picked the Rams, and if New England wins, like that's double bonus right there.
How come I didn't get a double bonus when the Lions won?
I mean, you
Brandon
did.
didn't get a double bonus
No,
from the Washington pick.
No, not like legitimately, but I mean, like everyone got one wrong.
Bullshit.
Got one right.
What is this?
All right.
I hate this podcast.
All right.
Wait.
Last segment. Matchup.
I'm not getting
recap.
paid anymore.
Matchup recap from. Oh my god! Matchup recap from our own league. My game was the only game that really mattered a whole lot. I beat Bruce. I got into the playoffs.
And honestly, that switched a lot of stuff up because I play Luke this week now and I don't play Colin no mo.
Yep.
Dude, the matchups in the playoffs are so good now. I love them.
Yeah.
Wait,
So,
am I on your side or
Yeah,
Brandon?
you are.
Oh, okay. All right.
so
Oh,
I
really?
beat.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Sweet.
Let's get no.
So I beat Bruce. I was winning going into Tuesday night, so I didn't start anyone in my flex, but Pat didn't play very well to Pat's standards. Austin Eckler didn't play very well to his standards. Mostert didn't play very well to his standards. Tyler Lockett didn't play very well again. Justin Jefferson, kind of goated at this point. And then also my defense and kicker did very well. Very fortunate that I played Bruce this week and won.
Hey, it's my first loss with Michael Thomas back. Like the Steelers, it was bound to happen. I needed the loss.
I'm serving it up.
I mean,
serving
you
up
already
bells.
had 5.
I would like to talk
What is
about
it?
my game
Oh,
with
yeah.
Wyatt.
Go ahead. Take her away.
I mean, can we just? Is there even like a closer game on the season? It comes down to the last minute.
That's
The last
insane.
minute of not even the last minute, like the last 30 seconds of the game.
When he threw that interception, did you start feeling a little better? You're like, oh, maybe
yeah.
he dropped.
I was going crazy. I was like, "That's a dub. That's
Oh,
it."
no, I'm not going to get embarrassed.
And then that one little reception with 7 seconds left on the clock stayed in bounds, and that was enough to give me the L.
Yeah.
It's
So
OJ's Bronco.
to put this into context, Luke lost 105.1 to 105.5 to Wyatt, and it was all down to Big Ben. Big old Ben.
That's upsetting.
That is upsetting. Brandon, Zach, you want to talk about your matchup?
You guys were saying your matchups mattered the most. I mean, shit. Brandon and I, listen. If that game was a good game for every other team in our league, like a phenomenal game.
Yeah.
The problem is that Darren Waller woke up and chose violence.
He woke up and did crack.
He woke up and
He did
woke
crack.
up and chose against sobriety.
He
Yeah.
really did.
He
He
said,
woke
"Nah,
up,
I want
dropped
that
a-
line of coke that I fought so hard to not do for the past 3 years."
dropped exactly 200 yards as a tight
That's
end.
insane.
That's nuts.
200 yards as a tight end.
What did I say?
Holy
17 targets?
Yeah.
As a tight end. What is it? Block a little bit, man. What are you doing?
Throw it to
And
Hunter
I-
Renfro.
Who said who said that my running backs were going to combine for 60?
Brandon did, I think. I think it was Brandon.
Well, you were a little wrong.
It's either Brandon or
41.5.
you.
Huh?
I don't know, man. It's just crazy looking at our matchup. I mean, we have our running back ones, or not really our running back ones, but top of the list. We have Alvin with 17.7, Nick Chubb with 17.6. And I was just like, oh my god. It was
And
like
then
this
James
throughout-
Robinson 22.8, Dalvin Cook 23.9.
Yeah.
It's Brandon and I talked about this. We think the only reason our teams are like top of the league is because we have that one player every week that just drops nearly 50.
Yeah.
So
And this week it clashed, and Darren Waller, of all players,
What up,
is
Beast,
the
dude?
one. It's Darren Waller. And
What a crackhead.
as a little jokey joke here, I played Kirk Cousins at quarterback.
Hell yeah. Start of the week, baby.
And I gotta say, it was technically a bad play. Kyler Murray scored 0.02 more.
No.
Tough.
God damn it. I'm really interested to see where James Robinson goes next year, like next year's drafts.
Oh, okay.
I mean, if Brandon's in our league, I think we know where it's gonna go.
Yeah, very
Yeah.
true.
Dude, you got me messed up. Tyreek Hill #1.
I was about to say, this dude's going to take Tyreek, and then he's going to take Darren Waller.
Have I not had Tyreek?
I don't think so. I think you've had it every
I
year.
think Brandon's making a dumb choice if he doesn't take Darren Waller second round.
That's very true.
Uber real. Allen Robinson.
Cut
Yeah.
the camera. Cut the camera.
Allen Robinson? No. Allen Robinson to the Texans next year. 100%. 100%.
Oh yeah.
I'd
free
pick him.
agent.
Allen Robinson to the Lions next year.
To the Jags.
Who's throwing in the ball? It's not Matthew Stafford.
Fields.
Okay.
No,
Allen
it's gonna be
Robinson.
the
I think you
guy
guys
from BYU. I forget
Yes.
his name. Zach Wilson, I think it is.
Yeah, something like that. You guys have won too many games.
I mean, Zach Wilson's gonna fall that low.
But yeah. But yeah, those were our. I guess there's one more. It was between Team Mickens and Boyer's team. Boyer got absolutely waxed. 161 to 97.
See what happens when Cooper sets his line.
I mean, yeah. we talked about this. I talked to Boyer about this. Like those players that he has, Keenan Allen, Travis Kelce, Aaron Jones, they're insane. They can go crazy.
Mhm.
But yeah. So since Cooper won, I had to win, and I got it done. And you love to see it. But yeah, that will end this podcast. We talked about everything we had to get to. We'll get another one out later this week. Talk about some more buy sell starts the week. Stuff's nice. Things of that nature. Things of that nature. And yeah, that's the show. Thank you very much for watching the Fantasy Football Show. December the 9th, 2020. Have a good one. Thank you very, very much for watching. See ya.
Have a
Stop
nice.
copying me.